How much money should you have saved for retirement in your 40s, 50s, and 60s? Well, the rule of thumb is 3 times your annual salary by 40, 6 times by your annual salary by 50, and 6 to 8 times by 60. It can be challenging sometimes, so we'll discuss what those challenges are and what's working. Let's chat. Saving for retirement can be stressful, worrisome, and full of anxiety. That said, it can be a thing of celebration and hope and confidence and security. Well, the Federal Reserve reports that the median income for American households saving for retirement in their 40s, 50s, and 60s is $100,000. That seems a little off track and causes people to worry about their retirement preparedness. So, hi, how you doing? I'm Dr. Preston Cherry, founder and CEO of Concurrent Wealth Management, where we help you align your life and money to help you live your wealth your way. And if you like and see what you hear on this podcast, please hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss a show. All right, so let's chop. When we're talking about saving for retirement, there's a lot of shoulds. And one of my mentors said, you probably heard me say on this podcast, well, nobody likes to be should on. That said, we do have to be on some sort of track in order to retire on time the way we want to, right? And so what are these numbers or these benchmarks that are guideposts to see if we are indeed we're on the pathway to where we want to go? Well, benchmarks and rules of thumb are good for guidance. They need to be tailored, however, to the course that we're on, right? And so when we talk about benchmarks and where we should be, quote unquote, right? Those numbers, as far as annual salary, right? 3 times by 40, 6 times by, or 5 times by 50, and 6 to 8 times by 60. The numbers bear that Generation X is just not that confident of being on track. And I would say that the numbers bear truth, right? When you talk about those between 45 and 54, having only about $100,000 median income, and those that are 54 to or 55 upwards to 60, about 134,000. And some numbers report about $250,000. Folks are just not that confident, right? Well, I would bear to say that some folks are, and there's things that are working that can get you back on track or on track to accelerate where you want to be. I would caution everyone to have, wealth comparison syndrome. We'll talk about that in the last segment, which is, your psychology about where you are. Some folks feel shame, guilt, and regret. But let me share something with you. Life is going to life. Life is not linear. And one thing about life is uncertainty is indeed certain. Things are going to happen. There's probably a lot of logical reasons that you're not on track, but if you are, congratulations, things went well, right? And there's also some behavioral factors, some discipline factors along the way that you can help to boost where you want to be, right? So one of the things that you could do is calculate your financial freedom number. I know this sounds basic, but how much you're going to need? How much you're going to need in retirement as far as spending income and to support your lifestyle. And one big myth is that you have to, even though if you're off track right now, one big myth is that you have to starve now and live in deprivation, your lifestyle, in order to feed your retirement lifestyle later. That's simply not true. It doesn't have to be or, it is and. That said, we have to mind our lifestyle creep. Well, lifestyle well-being is pretty good. You want to maintain the lifestyle that you're in. You may have to make some adjustments, That said, you don't have to deprive your lifestyle because life stage vitality matters. You're in your 40s, 50s, and early 60s. You're thriving, right? You don't get these years back. So you want to use these years as best as you can and use the high income that you have in order to live a good life because you won't get these years back. You don't want to live with regret. That said, you don't want to be living in regret when you are in your 60s, 70s, and 80s and say, I wish I would have done. It's a balancing act, but you can do both with some adjustments. And when you align your life and money and give them assignments, then you say, you know what, this is important to me, meaning my current life and my future life. You'll make those adjustments in order to fund the lifestyle that you want in both regimes, right? So make those know your number. How much do you want in retirement per year as far as retirement spending, and then multiply that more by rule of thumb by 25 or so, right? So this is very important. And then ask yourself, how is your lifestyle right now, and can you make some adjustments? And again, don't make too many adjustments that you feel like you're depriving yourself, and then you'll just not commit to your plan overall, right? Also, too, when we're talking about some challenges that's held people back a little bit. Listen, Gen X is a sandwich generation. They have adult children. Some of society may call it enabling a little bit, but supporting adult children all the ways up to 30. We have a fantastic episode about that, so check that one out. Just call it our Generation X ruining their finances for their adult children. We have college, which is explainable. We get that. We want to help the young folks get through. We have elderly parents, Gen X does, and we have their lifestyle right now. And then here is retirement. So there's a lot going on with Gen X that may explain why perhaps you don't feel that you're on track the way you want to go. That said, don't beat yourself up. Don't have too much shame about it, or don't have any shame at all, right? Because life is going to life. That said, you can get on track, and we're going to discuss that here in a minute, right? Try not to have procrastination or present bias. These are behavioral finance mindsets that putting your head in the sand and doing nothing is going to guarantee you nothing. So do something so you can help guarantee that you'll get to where you want to go, right? And be where you want to be, right? So avoidance doesn't work. And also just living in the present too much will sacrifice the future. So although you don't have to have an or approach, have an and approach, and don't suffer from so much bias, present bias right now, right? Your whole self includes your current self and your future self, right? So be mindful of your number. Make some lifestyle adjustments. Don't deprive yourself of what's going on now, and we can boost those account savings numbers, right, for you, right? All right. So, let me mention this is very important. When you are contributing to your accounts, the older you get, it's kind of like an AARP card. you get additional benefits, so to speak, right? So currently, after 50, you can make additional contributions to your tax deferred accounts by $7,000, right? So these are catch up provisions for you. So be mindful of those and take advantage of those too, right? I always like to ask people, do you like catch up? And if you are in your 40s and 50s and 60s, and with that rule about in the 50s that you can contribute an additional amount of money, then you need catch up. Put catch up on everything, right? All right. When we talk about how much money do people think they really need? Some people are comfortable with lower amounts because that's just how their lifestyle is, and they're not they're contented. They're not settling. That's just what makes them happy. My dad and mother say all the time that if folks had their retirement income and assets, then some folks may just be depressed, but they're very happy because that's their lifestyle. The numbers bear that folks say that they need somewhere around, I don't know, $1 million or 2.2 million was a one study. to feel comfortable about retirement. Gen X says specifically about 1 million, but with inflation and all that, that's bumping up to 2 and 3 million. And for those that have healthy lifestyles or lifestyles that they like to maintain, then you'd have to account for a more expensive lifestyle, right? So when we talk about a medium household savings being 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000, and those numbers of needing 3 and 6 to 8 times, well, you guys got some catching up to do. Remember about like catch up, just to get on back on pace to achieve that million, two, or or three, right? Gen Xers don't feel very well about retirement. Like I said, they say they need about 1 million. Some folks think they're going to have to delay retirement, and over half have no retirement savings at all, or plan at all. Knowing these numbers is admitting where you are, so you can, acknowledge how you feel about it, and then take some corrective, or some adjustment action in order to get to where you want to get. Right? Oh man. All right. There are things that are working for people in their 40s or 50s and 60s that have worked over time. Now, again, this is where comparison comes into play. Don't do that. Some folks started a lot earlier than some other folks. Okay, that's just life. Yeah, the people had the factors that aligned with them the way they can to do that. Also, higher savings rates over time have helped. Consistently contributing 15 to 20%. Now, for those that are challenged in their savings journey, then those savings rates are going to have to be increased anywhere between 20 and 30, right? Just as a rule that the maths, right? Savings rates matter, okay? And also, too, you had diversified income streams over time. I've seen this so much with the clients that we serve. For those that have adequate retirement savings, they've had rental income. We have a show about that too. Should you have rental income in your rental properties in your 40s, 50s, and 60s? That said, if you have them in the past, they work. Starting them, that may not be the best option, because you have to start from scratch, and there's risk in rental properties. There's also gain there, but rental income is not passive. It's not passive activity, at least. It's passive tax-wise, but it's not passive activity. But other diversified income streams are doing part-time work or side gigs. So most of you have some talent out there, and you have things that you like to do in order to generate some income. So you can either decrease expenses or increase income, or a little bit of both. But increasing income, that side hustle is the way to go, right? For most folks, is how do you regenerate more income in order to increase that savings rate up to 20 to 30%? All right, well, get your hustle on, right? And when you get your hustle on, you feel good because you are accomplishing what you want to. You feel better, right? Doing nothing feels not good. Doing something about it feels good. So that side hustle and increasing that income and diversifying those income streams help a lot. Okay. Also, too, it's tax saving. So be mindful of how much money you're allocating towards tax. And if that tax percentage of your overall income is out of whack, then you need to adjust that and get some of that money back in order for you to allocate towards your retirement. All right. This is very important. Last segment here is to avoid comparison syndrome. Avoid comparison syndrome. That will be deflating behavior. My dad says you got to put blinders on, because if you have blinders on, you can't look that way. You can't look that way. Those are for like the horse racers out there, right? When you have blinders on, then you're able to look forward and focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can control. Be in the mirror. The mirror can be an empowering audit or expensive tax. Expensive tax is that you are avoiding and procrastinating. And empowering audit says, "Hey, I could do something about it. We're going to be okay. We have some solutions, so let's get to it, right?" And so many folks say, "Oh, what about that? They're ahead," or "Why did I get where I am and why do I feel this way comparative to others. Listen, your life is yours. If you just focus back on what you want to accomplish, it will make you feel good that you're getting back on track, right? All right. And also too, scarcity mindset. There is enough resources for you in order to increase that savings rate, know your financial freedom number, diversify those income streams, max out accounts as far as IRAs or 401ks and brokerages. And we're going to talk about that in another episode, which is how to partner up your 401ks and your brokerage accounts in order to accomplish what you need to accomplish. So stay tuned to that. All right. Makes a couple of adjustments in order to increase your savings rate by about 5%, anywhere between 5 and 10% annually. And you don't have to cut your entire lifestyle out. You want to find a way to sustain your current lifestyle so you can feed your well-being now and feel confident, enjoy your vitality years in your 40s, 50s, so you can enjoy your 60s, 70s, and 80s. Okay. All right. Well, we've chopped up a lot here. There's a lot to do. Don't allow yourself to be externally or internally should on, right? Yeah, yes, there's some good rules of thumb far as how much money you should have in order for you to have a guidepost to see if you're on track and get back on track, or maybe you're above track. Those are good guideposts. That said, if you feel a little bit behind, just look at your finances, get that confidence of doing something, and you'll feel more better about yourself and about your future retirement preparedness. All right, that's what I got for you. If you like what you've seen, heard, and feel on this show, hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, we'll chop soon. Cheers.